Time, not space. No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Hello, and welcome back to I Don't Know What You're Talking About, a podcast where two people explain things to each other. Things that they may not know everything about, maybe they know just a little bit about. I'm Garrett. I'm a 42M from Oregon. It's a callback to one of our earlier episodes. And I'm here, as always, with my co-host. What are we? Co-host, Erin, as usual at the kitchen table. Erin, how are you doing?
This is season 2, right?
Yes, we took a little bit of time off for the holidays. The holidays being Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, MLK Day, and almost Valentine's Day. But we're feeling recharged, refreshed.
Are we?
No, we're not. It's been a struggle to, I feel like it's been hard to try to find a time to record.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I feel like bedtime got harder with our children all of a sudden.
Yeah, kids' schedules are hard.
Yeah.
And I've been too busy making waffles to podcast.
Yes, that good old Christmas present was a waffle maker this year, and Erin has been slamming waffles every weekend.
Slamming them.
It's been great.
Yeah. I'm going to start selling them at the local coffee shop.
Oh, yeah? You're just going to bring them down there?
Yeah, in little sleeves.
Is that like a sandwich bag?
No, like those pastry bags, you know? Like
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think they could work.
I have such good memories of that waffle cart in Oakland at the farmer's market.
Exactly.
Yeah. What was so good about them? Powdered sugar?
Maybe. I mean, they were just like they were like crispy and chewy and soft, but also crunchy somehow.
Yeah. It was really every texture going on.
Yeah. Those were really good.
Yeah. I feel like you've been dialing your waffle recipe, the batter.
Yeah, it's nice now that I kind of understand the ratios that need to go into it, so I can play with different flours, and like sometimes I do yogurt and sometimes I do fresh squeezed oranges, you know, like different liquids, different flours, different all of that, but like the general ratio is the same.
I didn't know you were putting oranges in there.
Quite a bit.
Wow. I guess you got to know the waffle rules so you can break them.
Exactly.
Which I do not know the rules.
That will be my company name, like Rebel Waffles or something.
Broken waffle rules.
Yeah. But that's okay. We can take breaks and have seasons.
Yeah, absolutely. Agreed. I felt like the holidays were bangers this year, though. I felt like we really tried to give it the old college try for, our kids, wanting the holidays to be magical for our families and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we had a very Christmassy Christmas in like a fun, magical way, like puzzles and warm drinks and movies and a cozy Christmas. Yeah.
Also, we had a very Thanksgiving-y Thanksgiving.
Yes.
I cooked for like 5 days straight.
Yeah, it was wild.
I'm not doing it again.
No, we'll never host again.
I mean, it was great. My mom listens to this podcast now.
Well, it's because we were trying this idea that potlucks are out.
Yeah, they felt rude.
Yeah, or just like, why have 10 people dirty their kitchen and make things and worry about it instead of just hosting and
instead of just having one family do the work of 10.
Yeah. But no, I take it back. Potlucks in the future.
Yeah, or we'll figure out a better way. We still won't necessarily host or host every other year.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that.
I mean, I feel like it works to be like, you're bringing the potato dish, whatever you want to bring. You're bringing a salad, whatever kind of salad.
Yeah.
You're bringing a dessert. Kind of assign it so you get the mix of food.
Agreed.
But what we did telling people to bring appetizers or snacks and apps meant that we had way too much food beforehand.
It's true. I was already kind of full by the time dinner hit the table.
Yeah, because everyone felt like they needed to bring things, so then we had a ton of snacks.
But isn't that kind of a Thanksgiving tradition?
Yeah,
It's just
definitely.
to be uncomfortable for pretty much the entire evening.
I guess I'm saying people felt like they wanted to cook or bring things anyways, so
Mhm.
you might as well just have them bring your dishes for dinner.
Lean into them making like just sides for the dinner thing and don't do apps or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, or just do fewer of them if people are going to cook anyways and want to contribute.
No apps 2025.
No, that's horrible.
No desserts.
No. Apps and desserts 2025.
Ugh, it's all going to happen again. Also had a fun New Year's. We did our 4th annual stay-at-home DJ stream, and our daughter's gotten super into it. She DJ'd 4 or 5 songs. She did like 2 Taylor Swift songs and 2 songs from the Frozen soundtrack, and danced along to every single one of them.
And had good, talked on the mic, and
Yeah,
that was cute.
yeah.
A lot of like, you're never going to guess what this next song is. I'll give you a hint.
It's from the Frozen soundtrack. But now she's moved on to the Moana soundtrack,
hmm
which I'm not mad at. I think that's better music.
Yeah, it's more fun. The other thing that's happened recently that I was thinking about when we were getting set up tonight was that the LA fires have...
Right, have happened.
Yeah.
Are still happening, or is that...
Yeah, I think they're pretty contained, but they're still happening.
Wow. Yeah, I can't even imagine. It's so crazy.
Yeah, and you were just looking at the picture of Molly Boz and Ben Willett's house.
Yeah, Molly lost her house.
In Altadena.
Yeah. She
And-
was Altadena, not Palisades.
Yeah. Just kind of crazy because they just finished that.
Right, yeah. They
House.
like designed it and built it, and
Yeah.
but now they have a chance to build a whole new house and design it.
Yeah.
I'm sure they learned things from designing it the first time, things they want to change.
And someone I went to college with who's an actress, Daniela Pineda, from like Jurassic Park, the newer Jurassic Park movies.
I thought you were going to say she's from Jurassic 5. I was like, what?
Jurassic World? Wait, what are the Jurassic Park movies called?
Jurassic World.
Yeah.
She's not part of Park,
No.
but she was in both
She's
worlds, or
she's
just
not
the
Laura
second world?
Dern.
If you are.
No, I think she was in both. Or is there 3?
I think there's 3 new bad ones.
She's maybe in 2 of them. Maybe all 3. She's in other things too. She was in some indie movie set in Austin.
But she went to your college, right?
Yeah. So I follow her, and she also lost her house in Altadena that she bought recently, her first house that she bought. And she was just posting, her house is totally destroyed. Her partner's house is too, that lived in that area. And there was this skull, like this little sculpture of a skull, human skull.
Okay, sculpture of a skull.
Yeah. Yes.
Her house burned down and there was a skull in it. She has no idea where it came from.
But kind of like a minimalist one, like very simple sculpture.
Sim skull? No, it doesn't work. Keep going.
No, sculpture is definitely,
Yeah.
but it was completely like pristine and sitting in the middle of this like burned, pit. And she said that it was on a tall bookshelf in her house, and just so strange. And it's from I don't remember, West Elm or something.
Wow.
She was like,
Yeah, what is it made out of?
shout out to the yeah, it's weird.
I saw a picture of a fire safe where everything, and like almost everything inside of it was destroyed just from the heat. Somebody said they had kind of act like ovens.
Oh wow.
But then I'm like, well, what is the point of the fire safe? Like, what?
This was from the LA fires.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Are they only safe up to a certain temp or something?
Like, literally, if there's a quick fire, not like a... I'm picturing there's a difference between these fires in LA that they just, like, took out neighborhoods and were kind of uncontrolled for a long time versus, like, if someone's house burns down, like, in a neighborhood that it gets put out quickly.
Yeah, I don't know.
That might be wrong.
Yeah, Sonam Obsessian, her house burned down in Altadena. Fellow podcaster, Sonam Obsessian.
From Conan.
Brian Needs a Friend, which is awful. She hasn't told her kids yet, her 3.5-year-old twin boys. So they're just loving it. They're like getting new toys from family members every day and like are just on vacation at grandma's house, and they know that they're going to build another house and they're really excited about helping design and build the house. Also, I heard Mad Lib's house burned down. I'm not sure where he lived though. Producer, beat extraordinaire, Mad Lib.
Yeah, so sad.
I wanted to issue a public apology about a previous episode that we had where I kept calling an actor Walter Goggins. We had a lot of...
And you've been called out.
Yeah, a lot of emails, tweets, blue skies, all came rolling in from the masses that it's Walton Goggins, not Walter, which I knew this, but I apologize.
Embarrassing.
To everyone out there and to Walton himself. Also, apparently the ladies are into Walton Goggins from
your sample size.
Everybody
Three.
that tweeted and emailed and blue skied us said that they're women and they're into Walton Goggins. And he's in season 3 of White Lotus, which I think is coming out sort of soon.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
I'm excited about that, and it makes me think that for season 2, before we get into our topics, I thought it'd be fun if we, I have a list, and we don't have to answer all of them, but something like what to read, what to watch, what to eat, what to drink, what to visit, any recent recommendations or things you've liked recently. Yeah. To read, watch, look at, eat, drink, visit, do.
Okay. Are you going to ask me these things?
Yeah.
I love a game.
Well, I'm going to ask you, and then either of us can answer, and we don't have to have something for all of these.
Okay.
And I did not prepare you for this, so
no, you did not. This is very on the spot.
So we'll just try it out.
All right.
Okay. So let's start with watch. Anything recent? I mean, you said we're excited about White Lotus. I would also bring up Severance.
Yeah, Severance is pretty hot right now.
Yeah, season 2.
Yeah.
2 episodes in.
I agree with the comparison that it's a lot. It's got some lost elements to it of like...
Oh, yeah.
I think your sister brought that up, and I was like, oh, you're right. Like how there's that guy with the goats. Like, oh, sorry, spoiler alert for season 1 of Severance. But there was just a random scene where it's like, what the fuck? What are they doing with those goats? And that's kind of similar to when you first discovered the polar bear in Lost. And you're like, what? There's a polar bear on the island? Like,
yeah, just these really strange things that you're trying to connect, like what it all means.
Yeah, and that company that they work for in Severance seems a lot like the Dharma Foundation to me, where you don't really truly know what's going on, and it feels very old, like it's been around for a long time, and it's gone through all these iterations, and it's like vaguely religious, but also a company.
Mm-hmm. You're right. It does have a lot of similarities.
Yeah. But I think that show is also pulling from so many different genres. It almost feels like there's some like Kubrick moments and just, and the whole style of like it being kind of like this modern, or no, what is it called? Mid-century.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, The Office mid-century vibe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I was just listening to Ben Stiller on speaking of Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend today, because he's like the executive producer and director of Severance, and he was saying that the idea for the show was some random script from like a person that's never written anything. It was just like in this bin, and he like somehow got a hold of it and was like, oh shit, this is good.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, it's really fun. I'm excited to see what unfolds this season.
Yeah, I have theories for season 2, but
Yeah.
I won't. I know it's fresh, so I'm not going to talk about anything.
We can discuss the theories after season 2 wraps up.
After both of our season 2s wrap up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're on the same schedule as Severance.
Yeah, and then we'll take the summer off.
We'll take like 3 years between seasons like them. Yeah. Okay, anything else to watch? We did watch the movie Conclave recently. That was, I thought, really interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was really fun seeing all these male actors that are kind of getting older. I realized that I hadn't seen a movie like that where it's like an ensemble of like older gentleman actors.
Mm-hmm.
But also Isabella Rossellini was up in there too.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good. I'd recommend that. We're also watching Disclaimer, which I don't think I would recommend.
Yeah.
I'm only watching it to finish it, but I don't think I don't know.
There's stylistic things that I really like about it, but ultimately the story is a mega downer.
Yeah, it's definitely depressing, and
I'm just not
a little flat. I don't know. There's something that's...
I think that the problem is we're not rooting for anyone.
Mm-hmm.
I think every show you need that one or two people where you're like, oh, like things keep happening to them to get them down and you want them to succeed. But I don't want any of these characters to succeed.
No,
like,
I don't like any of them.
They're all kind of awful.
Yeah, which probably is the point.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that doesn't make it fun to watch.
It is interesting that's Alfonso Cuarón, though.
Yeah. I was big into Y Tu Mama También back in the day, and I really like a lot of the direction and stuff in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of like kind of like sexy scenes too, but like done in a way where they're almost like not sexy. Does that make sense?
Well, because they're uncomfortable at
Yeah.
the same time and a little bit sad. Yeah, it's interesting.
Right. It's like the point of those sex scenes is not necessarily the sexiness. It's like, I don't know quite what I'm trying to say, but it's interesting to watch.
Mm-hmm. What about listen to? It could be music or podcast or
Does this have to be like newer things or just anything that we're doing right now?
anything.
Well, let's go to the vault here. What about you?
Let me think. I mean, I feel like I'd already talked about her on a podcast, but I've gotten really into Waxahachie.
Oh, yeah.
I
I really like that one song she has with, what's his name?
Oh, yeah.
MJ Lenderman.
Yeah, what's the name of that song?
Right Back to It.
Yeah, that's a good song.
That's a really good song. I've been listening to a lot of The Man by Taylor Swift because it's one of her daughter's top requests.
Any podcasts? Or?
No, I've been feeling kind of dry with podcasts. I mean, I have my regular ones that I listen to. Like I listen to Screen Drafts where they draft movies, and I listen to All Fantasy Everything where they draft random subjects. And it's, both of those are kind of comedy. I mean, All Fantasy Everything's definitely comedy, but Screen Drafts is more like film nerds. But that and Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend, and I don't really have much past that. I kind of want something else.
Yeah, I've been looking for something new to start listening to.
I need like a cereal or something.
Mm-hmm.
Man, those were the days.
Cultural moment.
Yeah.
Okay. I did look at because
Look at?
Yeah.
Paintings.
Yeah, art or whatever.
No, that's my answer.
Okay, it's a good rec.
What are you looking at?
Well, I was thinking about like a favorite artist, and Josh Stover is a artist who does a lot of like hand painted signs, especially in Portland. But he works in Tokyo a lot too. He has like a show in Tokyo right now. But I think his art is so fun to look at, and I would love a print of it someday. But it's so interesting, and he does a lot of these like pictures of chairs or food items. Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Cherries.
Yeah.
Floating in martini glasses, abstract martini glasses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, you turned me on to this guy a while ago, and I dig it as well. We should get a print.
Yeah, I really like. I would love a print in our kitchen or something. I just love everything he does, and all of his hand painted signs are really cool too.
He kind of reminds me of Max Wittert a little bit. Who's like that comedian guy that also like does art, similar styles.
Yeah.
Although Max Wittert is a little more like cheeky kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Max Wittert does that really fun thing where he'll go live on Instagram and people can suggest 2 emojis and he'll blend them into one drawing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then he'll do like a, 25 of them all over a big page and then sell the page of them. But he's really good at it, at coming up with funny ways to combine 2 emojis. I don't have any examples, so don't ask.
Anything you'd recommend eating?
Tonight we had that crispy rice chicken thing, which has been
New
fun.
York Times recipe with rice that you bake on a sheet pan with a turmeric sauce.
Yeah, it's like turmeric, ginger, lemon,
olive oily sauce.
Yeah.
And you season
garlic,
the salt you season the rice quite a bit with salt and everything in the sauce and bake it so it's all crispy. Really good.
A lot of like green onion and cilantro, and yeah, it's really yummy.
That's a good one. I guess waffles, we already talked about that.
Yeah. What are we putting on waffles? What's your go-to for toppings these days? Are you like a purist? Like,
I do a lot of times just like pick it up and just eat it with nothing on it. But I love peanut butter and maple syrup on a waffle for sure.
You gonna go savory anytime soon?
Yeah. I need to mix up my recipe a little bit.
You should do like a Korean pancake style, like a green onion waffle.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Yeah. With some like
I could try that.
Creme fraiche and bacon and
well, we had them when we did kind of the like latkes and kind of did a little more of a savory one with that dinner, like with
oh yeah, that's right,
creme fraiche on them or labna. Yeah.
I went to New Seasons to try to find labna, but it was like not in the sour creams or in that section. And I was like, oh man, where could this be? So I went up and asked a person and I was like, do you have any labna? And the guy just looked at me and was like, what? And I was like, labna? Labna? Like, and he just clearly had never heard these words before and was like, let me ask this guy. He was like, do you have any labna? Because like I was all like, am I pronouncing it right? Is
it's like the Nate Bargatze joke. Like,
yeah. Hammocks?
Yeah.
What's a hammock?
It's like, am I saying it wrong? You've definitely heard of this. Hannock? Is it Hannock?
Hammett?
Hammett.
It's Hammett season. He's so fucking funny. I love that he's getting so much shine these days.
Yeah. It's hard to keep the magic. I don't like. I feel like when comedians get too big, it's like they lose a little bit of that and get a little bit generic.
Yeah, and he definitely. There was one special where like he started going down the path of like my wife's a bitch, and I was like, oh god.
Yeah,
I think he's pulled back from that though. To finish that story, the other guy completely knew what I was talking about and took me to a very specialized
secret labna section.
Yeah, a section of New Seasons, and we got it dialed.
There used to be a Greek restaurant next to my work that you could get a side of labna, and I loved it. They would give me like this giant tub of it, and I would get that with a side of like gyro meat and pita, and just dip it in the labna.
Oh yeah,
so good.
See, here's your waffle right there, like gyro meat, labna, waffle.
Waffle. Okay, what about anything to drink? I mean, right now, because I was cold, we're drinking Fernet tea and oat milk.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Hilarious.
It's pretty good.
It's delicious. It's cozy as well.
Yeah.
To drink, what do you think? I've been enjoying the Topo Chicos that are in the garage fridge right now. What else?
We've been kind of doing dry January with some little dips.
Right. Yeah, dry January, except for the 14 events that require alcohol.
Yeah, I mean, I just think we've been having less alcohol in general.
No, that's absolutely true. We've been drinking less in January.
There's this non-alcoholic spritz that I'm interested in called Aplos, but it's hemp-based. But it
Is
looks
it like
really...
a CBD thing, or?
Yeah, I think so. But there's you get 2 bottles, and one's calm and one's social or something. But
One's
I
calm and one's angry.
Yeah. One's for rage. Read.
The college?
Any recommendations for things to read?
Let me think. Gosh, I haven't been reading a ton. I need to get back into it. I need to finish that book. Who's the guy who did The Martian? Andy Weir.
Mm-hmm.
And he also did that. What was that one called? Project Hail
Mary.
Hail Mary.
That was so good.
Really good. When is that movie going to come out? I heard it was being made.
Oh, yeah.
Super curious. But yeah, I was reading one of his newer books, and it takes place on the moon, but it's 100 years from now, and his style where it's everything is very factual, it could happen with the science and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's pretty interesting. I like it. It was fun. I need to finish it. Also, I borrowed it from a coworker, and it's been way too long for me to return it now. It'd be weird.
Years.
Yeah. If you give somebody a paperback book, don't you kind of expect to never see it again? Am I the weird one?
No, I think it's fine. I mean, I think if it was something important to them, they would bring it up, or...
She did make a point of wanting it back when she gave it to me.
Oh. I think you should just give it back. I don't think it's that weird.
I don't even work with her anymore.
Oh, did she die?
No, she quit.
Oh. She'd have to track her down.
Well, I know her.
Oh.
I have her number. Track her down. I'm going to hire a PI.
I read Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow recently. That was with my book club. Really good. And then The Covenant of Water also. The Covenant of Water is incredible.
Oh, nice.
It's a little bit like well, actually, I've been thinking about this other book, 100 Years of Solitude, because I think there's a show out now.
Oh, really?
Of it, so I wanted to reread that again.
That's not House of the Spirits, right?
Right. Gabriel Garcia Marquez is 100 Years of Solitude, and Covenant of Water has this kind of similar vibes where it's following kind of family members in one, a few generations in one family. But yeah, beautiful writing. But that was a little while ago, and now I'm reading The Heaven and Earth Grocery Store, but too early to say, so I'll bring it back on a future list.
Our fans know that you love grocery stores.
I do. That's the first thing I thought of when I started reading it.
Is that why you selected it? Did you search grocery stores at a bookstore?
No, but the person in book club that brought it up, when they mentioned it, I was thinking I'd like anything that's about grocery stores.
I mean, you guys also read Shopping in H Mart, right? Another
Crying
grocery
in H
store.
Mart.
Crying?
Mm-hmm.
Slightly different title there.
I think it's called Crying in H Mart. Something like that, yeah.
But that's also about a grocery store, right?
It comes up. It's not like about the grocery store. Yeah. Visit?
Places to visit?
Yeah.
I've heard great things about Lisbon.
We can cut this one out.
Can I just say, I keep getting freaked out so many times per day because our son turned 2 recently and he loves Buzz Lightyear. So we got a 6-foot balloon version of Buzz Lightyear, but it's one of those like foil balloons that last forever. Like we've had it for almost 2 weeks now, and
It's in perfect.
yeah, it's
shape.
fine.
Yeah.
It's like the real Buzz Lightyear still.
Yeah.
But like I'll come around a corner in the morning and be like, oh god, oh, it's just Buzz. It just happened to me. I can see into our family room across the patio, and I was like, it's Buzz.
That's so funny. Okay, that's all my questions.
Do you have any places to visit?
Well, actually, I was just thinking about how my cousin does food tours in Italy.
Oh yeah.
And I have a coworker who's going to Italy soon, and so she put it on her list and is connecting with her to do one of the food tours.
Nice. Fun.
So, Memento Martina on Instagram.
I was gonna say shout her out.
Yeah. And her stepdad is Dario, the butcher, kind of famous Italian butcher that's like been on Anthony Bourdain and different food shows. So she works with him some and has done like, I don't know, she's gone through like butcher trainings and things like that. But yeah, she's just very connected in Florence and all over Italy, and does authentic Italian food tours to take people to unique places, and does custom trips, like builds a custom map for you depending on what you're like wanting to try and what areas do you want to go to.
I'm super into that idea. Like
Yeah.
a custom route based on what you want to eat.
Exactly.
I mean, the main reason I travel is for food.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like my sister say one time. I'm on my next gastro vacation. And at the time I was like, hey, fuck off. Like I travel for lots of different reasons, like for culture, and I'm like, no, like that's a big part of it is the food.
Yeah.
Thus us wanting to go to Italy. Also, we have that friend that designs bike tours up and down Italy. Has a lot of recommendations for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're going to go biking and eating our way through Italy.
At the same time. Eating waffles on bikes.
Okay, that's all my questions.
All right, I like it. So I should prepare for those questions for next time? Or
Loosely.
I kind of like you just grilling me on the spot.
Yeah, we don't have to have answers for all of them.
I didn't. Well, Erin, we've met here at the kitchen dining room table once again to tell each other about some things that the other person might not know about. We're going to decide who goes first by doing a game of rock, paper, scissors. Best 2 out of 3, boom, boom, shoot.
Yep.
All right. Shit. Erin crushed my scissors with her rock. Oh, no. She double rocked me.
And he double scissored.
Yeah, I double scissored. God, I really thought you were going to go paper on that one. Well, you get to decide who goes first.
I'll go first.
All right.
Maybe you do know about this topic, but I found this interesting because I've been reading it more about this because I had a naturopath doctor a while ago ask me, quite a few years ago, ask me if I make sure I always get outside and get sunlight within 30 minutes of waking up, like a short morning walk or something. But he emphasized the within 30 minutes of waking up.
And did you say, I usually sleep outside, so the sun wakes me up?
Yeah. But I didn't really know the significance of why he was saying 30 minutes and if that was just like to get fresh air and get some morning exercise and just like start your day off right. But he made a big deal about it. I've been reading more about it and think it's interesting. there's been research on how important our relationship to light and dark is for our mental health. And there was a big study that looked at this. But one of the most important things is sunlight early in the day in your eyes. Like no sunglasses.
So look directly at the sun.
Yeah. No, I'm not recommending look directly at the sun, but not through a window and not sunglasses. It's okay with contacts or glasses or whatever, but like actually going outside, and it doesn't have to be a sunny day, just daylight.
Okay, that works out for us.
Yeah. And then on the flip side of that, having darkness at night.
Does this have to do with like circadian rhythms?
Exactly. Yeah.
They're like my top 10 rhythms.
Yeah, definitely a fave rhythm. But darkness at night, like consistently dark at night, and then lots of exposure to bright light during the day, sunlight, to set that rhythm. And it can counter negative effects of depression, like ADHD, OCD, all kinds of things.
Oh.
But like anxiety, lots of mental health disorders. And has to do with your cortisol levels. I think they're like highest in the mornings. And it, like, by going outside, like taking a walk, getting the movement and exposure to sunlight, you are like timing that cortisol peak in the right way that it supports your mental health. And there have been studies if they like shift that to later in the day, and that's when people like depression starts peaking, anxiety, sleep issues, all of that.
So is this outside light within 30 minutes of waking up? Is this before your 30 grams of protein or after 30 grams of protein?
Making fun of me?
I'm not. I've been eating more protein in the morning because you talked about this.
Whichever way to get outside within 30 minutes. Which is tricky with kids. And
I suppose you could just take your food with you and do 1 gram of protein per minute, and then you know when all your protein's gone that you've been outside for 30 minutes.
No, you don't have to be outside for 30 minutes. Go outside within 30 minutes.
Oh, how long?
5 minutes, 3 minutes. Just go get some sunlight within 30 minutes of waking. And ideally while you're doing some kind of physical, like walking, getting some movement.
But there's no recommended how long?
I'm going to say 5 minutes.
Dr. Erin is saying 5 minutes?
Yeah, I'll look into it. But it's interesting because there's like all these like effects that people, because their sleep gets better through that they start noticing like improvements in all kinds of things. So
it's crazy how much sleep. I mean, I'm not splitting the wheel here, reinventing the atom, but just that there's so many things are connected to sleep, as we know, as you know, parents with young children. Yeah, seriously. If our kids don't get good night's sleep. Now you said it's important to sleep in darkness.
Yes.
Do you think we're doing ourselves a disservice by having a light and Bluetooth speaker with ocean sounds playing in our room 24/7 for the last 2 years? We should look into it because it is a red light, which is supposed to be good for sleep. Yeah. And otherwise our room is bad for traffic. Otherwise our room is really dark. It's true. I'm not sure. I don't know if like red light's just good for falling asleep. I have no idea. So blue light from your phone makes it hard to sleep, right? Yeah. Yes. Red light good? Yes. Blue light bad? Yes. Which was the pill you were supposed to take in the Matrix that if you wanted to like open your brain? Was that the red pill? Yeah, I think so. Hey Siri, which pill in the Matrix did you take if you wanted to get out of the Matrix?
To get out of the matrix, one must take the red pill.
Red pill. Nailed it.
This answer is from Wikipedia.
Thank you, Siri.
No problem.
So the blue pill is if you want to stay asleep. So it's kind of the opposite in the Matrix.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just remember it's the opposite of the Matrix in real life.
I don't know if if I explained the cortisol thing right. There's like this pulse of cortisol every 24 hours, and you need to like release it in the morning. That's when it's at its highest.
I saw some headline recently, maybe you even sent it to me, but that if you do like 10 squats every 45 minutes, that throughout the day, that's the same as doing like a 30-minute walk every day. 10 squats is nothing. That takes like 30 seconds.
Yeah, but I've been trying to do this, but I've been reading about like just trying this for a week, like getting out in the morning within 30 minutes of waking up and going on a walk, and people saying even within a week they notice such a big difference in their mental health and all of that.
I mean, we kind of have that built in trying to walk our daughter to school.
Yeah, it's true. It's hard to do that within 30 minutes of getting up, though.
Yeah, that's a crazy 30 minutes.
Maybe we should get up, do a little family walk, like down the block. Oh my gosh. And then calmly get ready.
This will not work.
I know, 100%. I'm
100%.
saying that's why it's tricky.
It is very tricky. I don't know how to do it. We should probably get up at 4 in the morning, take a walk, then go back to bed, and then get up and do our morning routine with the kids.
I saw something that was like someone talking about how to get up early, how to like try to get up earlier.
Is one of the recommendations doing podcasts late at night?
No, but it was doing the 5-4-3-2-1 method. Which I don't know what that is. So I'm going to look right now. Because it feels relevant. It's a Mel Robbins thing.
Who's that?
Like a writer. Podcast person, a writer. Please hold. So, the internet says that Mel Robbins' 5-4-3-2-1 rule is a countdown technique that helps people get out of bed, focus on tasks, and interrupt negative thoughts. It's part of Robbins' 5-second rule, which is a metacognitive tool that helps people rewire their minds to take action. When you feel the urge to do something other than what you should be doing, count backwards from 5 to 1. At 1, take action. So when you wake up and want to hit snooze, when you want to get out of bed, when you want to get back on task, when you feel yourself getting triggered, when you want to interrupt negative thoughts, it can help you get out of bed and start the day.
So like if you want to stay in bed, you just go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and just get out of bed?
Guess so.
Oh. What a hack. I meant like a life hack. Not that Mel Robbins is a hack.
Right. I'll read more about it and tell you next.
That could be your topic.
Podcast. Yeah.
You could explain who Mel Robbins is in the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Speaking of the 5-second rule, I recently taught our daughter about the 5-second rule of food falls on the ground. And I have mixed feelings about it because I never loved that. And now I just pulled it out of nowhere and taught it to her.
Yeah, you've passed it on to future generations.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, that's it.
All right. Nice. Good topic. I'll make sure to get my forearms in the sunlight. Wait, that's not what you talked about.
Just your eyes.
Eyes. And no sunglasses.
Right.
It's confusing because I feel like you pushed sunglasses on me a few years ago for like eye health.
I'm not saying sunglasses are bad. It's just getting some sunlight in the morning.
Okay.
And then darkness at night, also important.
Okay. Well, is it my turn?
Yeah.
So I was feeling like some of my topics were a little bit like not clinical, but just like very factual about certain things. And I realized that I tonight wanted to inject more of my personality and thoughts into this topic. So avid listeners will know that I am a high school math teacher. And tonight I want to talk about my favorite types of students. Just archetypes, not actual specific students. I realize I've talked with you a little bit about this over the years, since I've been teaching like 15 years now, but I don't think I've ever like sat down and actually like listed them out.
Okay.
Okay. So one of my all-time faves is a kid who's actually not that great at math, but are just like a super normal, fun to talk to person who's like nice and treats you like a human and not like a math teacher.
Yeah.
That you can talk with them about music, that you can connect with them on their interests and hobbies. You can actually tell them about things that you like as well when they seem genuinely interested. They also, a lot of times, will get like kind of a middle of the road grade, like, B's and C's on tests and things like that. But they don't care that much. They seem to know that like that it seems justified. First of all, they're like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, and also that they kind of divorce you from that concept of the grade with the math, as opposed to other students that get very like personal about like, no, this teacher is doing this to me.
Right. Do you feel like it seems like these students might also be a little bit more like grounded in a way that's like you're not, getting a B in math is not the end of the world, or what I mean? Like
they get a little
more perspective,
bigger picture where they're like, oh yeah, like I don't care.
Yeah. Without having like apathy and like failing it, but like a little bit of perspective.
Right.
That they're a little more balanced than some of the kids that are freaking out that.
Right. And they're trying. They're like, taking in the lessons and trying to do well, but like, yeah, it almost seems like secondary to your relationship with them, that they just, like talking about things that they're interested in and will interact with you. Yeah, nice, normal humans, which
nice.
is rare with teenagers because I know they're still figuring out a lot of things. And
what do we call type 1?
I have to come up with names for all these types of kids. I mean, I have certain students that I think of when I think of this, but I don't want to use any names on this podcast, obviously.
I'm picturing like a children's book or something. I'm picturing like the connector or the
Connector.
like the.
That's what we start calling them in class. Ah, the connector is here.
Yeah.
My next favorite type of student,
type 2.
Type 2 diabetes kids, are super smart kids who aren't cocky about it. Like kids that actually seem to enjoy mathematics and they're good at it. These kids will bring you they're the ones
humble.
Yeah, they're not like, I've definitely had those kids that are like, oh yeah, I'm hot shit. Like, I don't even have to try. I'm not going to even touch the homework because I already know I'd be so good at it. Like,
yeah.
Like, these kids are like, no, I'm going to do every single homework problem because, like, I enjoy getting the right answer and knowing that I'm good at this. And then they're the ones that find those super hard problems and they bring them to me and are like, hey, can you help me with this? And I'm like, oh shit, that is a hard problem. And we like sit there and like grind through it and get through it together. And I'm like, it's kind of like we both have like revelations about like, oh, but that you can't do this because of that's what makes sense about that.
It's like another math teacher you're connecting with.
They're just somebody who enjoys math. Like, yeah. Yeah, so I really like working with those kids. And they don't fault you for being like, oh, shoot, I don't know how to do that problem. Let's try it. Let's do this, that. And like,
right.
They kind of understand that process of like, trial and error and things like that, as opposed to other kids where like if I falter for a second, they're like, wait, you're a math teacher and you don't know how to do the problem? I'm like, it's not like that. Like,
Right.
you know how
That's
many
not how math works. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that's not what I'm trying to teach you. Like,
Right. You're not going to like know how to do every problem. It's like the whole point is
Right.
that you can figure it out with the tools you have. Or
yeah, exactly. Like that's the bigger skills I want them to walk away with is the,
yeah.
oh shoot, I don't know. Let's try something. Let's do this. Let's talk to somebody. Like, yeah. So love those non-cocky math nerds. Type 2. Maybe it's just based on the courses that I've kind of gotten into a routine of teaching in my particular school, but I get a lot of sports kids. Like I get a lot of volleyball players. I get a lot of football players. I get a lot of baseball kids, softball, like, yeah, just sport kids across the board. But once again, sports kids that are nice to you and they're like willing to put in a lot of effort because they, you know, there's definitely that connection of they need to keep their grades up to stay on a team.
Yeah.
But they just, in general, the sports kids seem to get that kind of team mentality and like, you know, playing their part and trying hard. So even though I'm not going to categorize sport kids as not being good at math, because I definitely have like a full wide range of them. But I just love when sport kids actually try in a math class.
And they're probably kids that like, I mean, they're invested in like the sports they're playing and they're like trying hard at things.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, I just think the type of kid that does well in sports is a fun kid to teach because they, I don't know, there's something about like the coach relationship where they like, yeah, like I said, they understand that everybody plays a part in like,
They have to be a team player.
yeah, something like that.
You're their math coach.
Yeah.
Math is a sport.
Full contact.
Math is a full contact sport.
I like how you're whispering 2 feet away from the microphone.
It's on purpose. It was part of the joke.
I love a class clown that
certain type though.
Yeah, that is willing to go back and forth with me a little bit and realize that it's for the sake of like, you know, some comedy and some bits, and that I'm not like, I can actually like kind of make fun of them a little bit and know that they're fine with it. Like I've had kids like this where, you know, they will say like, hey, you know, Mr. Garrett, I'm going to do this weekend. You want to come? And I'm like, no, I'm absolutely good. I don't want to hang out with you this weekend. And like people chuckle at that, but like the kid knows that I'm not purposely trying to tear them down, or they're also being silly with me and I'd be silly with them.
But so there's probably class clowns that like don't know when to stop.
Yes.
So you're talking about the ones who do like are better at like knowing the moments that it is funny, or
right. And also these are kids that I would say that I, you know, have a good relationship with. It's not like a rival, like they're not trying to get at me or something like that. They just are trying to be funny, and I play into that as well. Yeah, and I've had students where like, you know, I have not necessarily gone too far, but just like, I think that kid's okay with that relationship. And then when there's like a moment where everybody's filing out or something, being like, hey, you know, I was just joking about that, right? And they're like, oh yeah, totally. Like
good to acknowledge and make sure.
No, it's a weird line to try to toe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I also love a super gullible kid. Because I don't do this as much as I used to, but you know how I used to just lie to students a lot. Like, I would lie. Oh, yeah,
like you... Didn't you tell them you're like a ridiculous age and they fully believed you?
Yeah, when I was like 25 or something like that. They were like, how old are you, Mr. Garrett? And I was like, oh, I'm 52. They're like, what? No way. And I'm like, no, I've just always looked young for my age. Like... I get that all the time. People are like, oh, you're so young. Like, you're actually that age. And so, yeah, then I would just, get people coming up to the halls and like introducing other students to me and be like, how old do you think this guy is?
He's 52.
52 years old. Yeah, that joke's not as funny anymore. Like, I can't. And like, I gotta up it. I gotta be like, well, I'm actually 70.
I'm getting close to retirement.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm 64.
I shouldn't even be here. I told that class that I had like a head tattoo, but I wouldn't tell them what it was. And I said I had to grow out my hair because I don't want people to see it anymore. Like, just dumb stuff that I just feel like this teaching is such a rough job in so many ways. And if you can't have some sort of like small fun with it, it's a bummer. I also love when kids are like, how many problems are going to be on the test? I'm like, oh, less than 50 for sure. And they're like, oh, wait, what? Is he serious?
I also like when you do that dumb joke. I actually don't think it's that dumb. I think it's funny when kids say like, I have 2 questions. Like, start with the first.
Yeah. I actually have 2 questions. And I'm like, okay, let's start with the first one. Nobody ever thinks it's funny.
Yeah.
Of course, we're going to start with the first question.
It's funny.
I'm going to switch it and say, let's start with the second one.
That will throw them off. They'll get it.
They won't. So you remember Jack Handy's Deep Thoughts?
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to put one up in the front of the room every day to start the lesson, and students would just get like angry about them, about like not understanding why they're funny.
That's so dumb.
It's so dumb.
I love that you put those up though. I feel like that would be something that I'd like remember later in life about high school or like about a certain teacher.
I should probably get back into it. I definitely don't do it anymore at all.
Mm.
It almost got to the point where nobody even talked about it like they hate them, or like they just like nobody would even acknowledge it. And I was like, am I alive? Am I real? Like,
you should try it again and see what happens.
all right. There was always like a couple kids that were like, no, I think they're funny. But then other kids were like, ugh, Mr. Garrett, I just don't get it.
Yeah.
Then I would actually like make it a joke. I would try to go further by like explaining every single part of it.
This is not one of your favorite archetypes though.
What, the kid who doesn't get deep thoughts?
Yeah.
No, this is on the other list. But I'm trying to keep it positive. No, I would say the vast majority of students I really like. Obviously, there's a couple negative ones in there, but like, yeah, this is my list of types of students that I like, that I could think of. Oh, sorry, I had one more.
Okay.
This type of kid is the kid that has way more drive and ambition than me already at 17 than I've had for most of my life. These are the students that are like really great at art, but have also, already secured a national art scholarship to go to this out-of-state art institution. They set up their own craft fair where they're going to make all these things, and then they're donating all the proceeds to the, kind of the Los Angeles fires or Dornbecker's Children's Hospital or something like that. And they're always taking like 5 IB dual credit classes, like taking the hardest load you can take. They're above and beyond with their extracurriculars. They play a sport. They're, raising money for foundations. They're like winning all these national scholarships and shit. And I'm like, what? How do you have time for what is like? I'm trying to think of what I was doing at 17, and it was like absolutely none of these things. Like,
but like, of course they have time. They have all the time.
Yeah, I get it.
It's the ambition that's
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not mad. I sound mad right now, but I'm honestly just in awe. I'm like, wow.
It's just surprising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, oh, I'm struggling to get my work done on a daily basis. And you're going up so far above and beyond.
Yeah. Was that 5?
Let me think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Technically, if we include the gullible kids.
Oh, gullible. So we have average and nice, math nerds, sports, class clown, gullible, and ambition.
Yeah, some of those are a little bit boiled down, but yes. I don't love every class clown. I love a certain type of class clown.
Right. The class clown that can throw it back at you.
Yeah, just a little witty repartee.
Okay. I just want like a little sketch of each one and
Like a picture?
yeah. Yeah, sketch, like a picture.
I'll take a picture of all these kids.
No, not of actual kids.
Oh, a picture in your brain.
Yes.
I see.
A drawing.
A sketch.
A sketch.
I was thinking about those class clown kids that you can poke fun at a little bit, and I remember this kid that his soccer team, he was on the soccer team or something, and they did this thing where they like quote unquote kidnapped him. Like, they got his parents' permission to come and like, they grabbed him out of bed at 6 a.m. and then they like shaved half of his head for the day. And so he came in and I was like, Tom, like, what's going on here? He's like, oh, it's the soccer thing. Like, it's all fine. It's good. And then later he had to leave early for class. And so he was walking out in front of the class like, oh, I have a pass. I'm leaving. I was like, okay, have a nice day.
Good one.
Got a good laugh.
Also, that's terrifying.
Insane.
Yeah.
Yes.
Glad it went well and he didn't like
Struggle. No, I think you probably know
Right.
about those sort of shenanigans happening and have heard about them before they happen to you.
Got it.
Or maybe they give you a heads up. I don't know.
Is this a recent student?
No, this was years ago. I haven't had a half haircut kid in a long time.
Wonder how he's doing.
Probably fine.
Good topic.
Oh, thank you.
It's funny because I was thinking about talking about my work next week.
I think you should.
Yeah. Because I don't talk about my work very much with people.
I don't even know what you do.
Yes, you do. But there's so many ins and outs that I could, just lots of areas that I could explain that I think would be interesting to hear about,
Absolutely.
at least from my perspective.
Yeah, I was trying to think of like something that I could bring to the table that's unique because like
Yeah.
anybody can Google the fun things that happened on the set of The Fugitive or
For example.
just to pull something out of thin air.
Well, fun topic.
Thanks. I liked yours as well. I'm going to try to get out more without sunglasses.
Bright light throughout the day, inside and outside, and then darkness at night. Consistency.
I am very thankful that when I teach, I have giant windows in my classroom
That's great.
because I've taught in classrooms with no windows, and that's
Yeah.
depressing.
Yes.
All right. Well, now we know.
Now we know.
Good night, Erin.
Good night.
Have you ever transcended space and time?
Yes. No. Time, not space. No, I don't know what you're talking about.